I love Infinity Train. I know I'm kind of late to the party. I just missed the campaign to renew the show at the end of April. I, like so many others, got super hyped when the concept pilot was released in 2016 on Cartoon Network. This was a fresh, interesting concept that had so much potential for varied and unique storytelling. If any show deserved to be made, it was this. But I wasn't going to hold my breath. Innovation isn't exactly rewarded these days. No one wants to take risks. Studios are playing it safe. As great as it was, there was no way Infinity Train was going to be greenlit. And then we got the announcement. Infinity Train was set for release in August of 2019. And I couldn't actually watch it because I wasn't in a position to do so legally, and I wanted to support the official release. It was on my list for so long, and finally, this past month, I was finally able to watch it. And I loved it immediately. It's been a while since the last time a show hooked me to the point of binging, but I devoured this series. It was everything I had hoped for and more, with great animation, stellar writing, lovable characters, and a world of limitless possibilities. It was brilliant. But then, the bad news. When Book 4 dropped in April, it came with the announcement that it would be Infinity Train's last season. And while the news was disappointing, it was far from surprising. Cartoon Network already screwed over Steven Universe with its months-long hiatuses and rushed final season. Alex Hirsch had plans for a Gravity Falls movie that never came to fruition. While industry bullshit has always existed, it feels like we're in an unprecedented time of creative stagnation, where studios are rewarded for playing it safe and risk-takers are punished. I want to do a full-scale analysis and share all my thoughts on Infinity Train, but I have not been great about getting things done in a timely fashion lately, and this needs to be talked about now. If we want to save Infinity Train, we need to strike while the iron's hot. So even though I have like 5 rough drafts I'm really excited about and more on the back burner, I kind of had to drop everything to make this video. Because Infinity Train deserves it. The simple fact is that Infinity Train deserves an ending. This show was clearly conceived with an overarching story and end goal in mind. As someone who prefers serial fiction to procedural fiction, I love this. We need more self-contained television series, especially where animation is concerned. Infinity Train is a masterpiece of visuals, storytelling, and visual storytelling, and the reason Cartoon Network canceled it is heartbreaking. It's pretty common knowledge at this point that creator Owen Dennis had planned for 8 seasons total, which is so brilliant I can't even. I mean, the number 8 is literally the infinity symbol, but also that the crew had the entire script written for season 5. It was intended to be a movie about Amelia, the primary antagonist of Book 1. And Cartoon Network passed on it because it had no child entry point. There are not words adequate enough to describe how frustrating this is. Fans of animation have for years been screaming that animation is not specifically for children. It is a medium as much as live action is and can be used to tell stories that appeal to any and all ages. It's easy to make this comparison, but there's a reason anime's popularity exploded in the US with the rise and spread of streaming. Japanese creators do not limit themselves to tailoring their animated works to children. Sure, the majority of anime is aimed at a young teen audience, but there are shows clearly meant for very young children like Banana and Chi Sweet Home, and then there are anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Elfen Lied, and all of Satoshi Kon's films that are clearly meant for more mature audience. And you have anime that can be enjoyed by all ages, like much of Studio Ghibli's work. All this is to say that even with the vast catalog of titles anime offers, even with other international successes like Persepolis and the films of Cartoon Saloon, even with American studios like Pixar producing content that is clearly meant to be relatable to an older audience, there is still this incredible misconception in this country that animation is just for children. Canceling Infinity Train because the 5th season didn't have an entry point for children is asinine. Especially when it's clear the creators never intended to tailor the show specifically to a young audience. There's a really great progression over the 4 existing seasons of issues the protagonists deal with and what age those issues feel relatable for. Book 1 sees the main character dealing with her parents' divorce, something that kids can experience even at a very early age. Book 2 follows the main characters dealing with issues of identity, something kids struggle with as they get older and start to figure out who they are. Book 3 features older teen protagonists learning lessons about consequence, about how their actions affect others and the world around them. And book 4 has 2 young adult protagonists, each at a crossroads and trying to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their lives. That is such a natural progression of issues that people face as they grow up. It's insane how smooth the writing is, not just within each story arc, but across seasons. Amelia's story is the clear and natural next step. Of course, grief is something that can affect people of any age, but Amelia is grieving the loss of a romantic partner. She knew what her future looked like, and she had someone she wanted to share it with. And in a heartbeat, that future was gone. And Amelia boarding the train has direct consequences for every one of the protagonists across all 4 seasons. Getting her story is just the natural next step for the narrative, and to see the show get cancelled for no good reason is beyond frustrating. In an age of perpetual reboots, sequels, spin-offs, and cinematic universes, new ideas should be celebrated and encouraged. But the entertainment industry as it currently is seems designed to choke out fresh ideas with wave after wave of familiar titles and old favorites. As great as streaming services are, it doesn't help that all the shows you grew up with are now available at the click of a button at any time. Nostalgia plays a huge part in what gets greenlit nowadays. Owen Dennis has said that maybe in 20 years, when the new CEO of Cartoon Network grew up with Infinity Train and was a big fan, maybe the show can get picked up again. But I don't want that. In 20 years, I want an Infinity Train movie that follows entirely new characters and has oblique references to the original series. Even if Infinity Train was conceived with an ending in mind, an ending it deserves to get, the world is strong enough that it can be used to keep telling new stories. Dennis has already said that he would love to do an Infinity Train video game, a VR experience, and comic books created by and starring non-Americans. Infinity Train has the potential to become an enduring franchise on the level of The Last Airbender or Digimon. I can just see people coming up with their train sonas, how the train appeared to them, why they got on, what their number was to start with, what denizen they end up traveling with, etc. And it is baffling that executives do not see the amazing opportunity they have in front of them. As messy as it was, Steven Universe got its ending. Despite having some of his plans fall through, Alex Hirsch was able to finish what he started, but they had to fight to get there. Infinity Train deserves the same. Fortunately, the same system that makes it so hard for new titles to gain recognition is the same system that can save them, and it's up to the fans to take advantage of that. Share Infinity Train with everyone you know. Get the view count up. Buy official merch. Share your fan art, fan mixes, and cosplays. Show the networks that Infinity Train has an audience. Owen Dennis hasn't given up hope, and we shouldn't either. But if we want Infinity Train back, we need to make it happen. And we have another chance. Another Twitter trend is planned on May 25th, with the hashtag InfinityTrainHBOMax. Fans got Finish Infinity Train trending on April 29th. They got Infinity Train itself trending on HBO Max. They can do it again. So get out there, get hashtagging, and let's finish Infinity Train. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still planning on doing a deep dive of the series because I just love it that much. Let me know what you love about Infinity Train in the comments. And as always, I'm eternally optimistic, and I'll catch you guys next time. Fans got Finish in Trinity... Ugh. Fans got Finish in... They got Infinity Training...